and that they, in fact, built this whole system on purpose to withstand the test of time and to create a form of silent tyranny.
Hey, what's up, guys? I just went live. I just want to show you guys. Since I was on live with you guys, here's 6 more flights. No, I'm sorry, 8 more flights right here. They have taken off. They are en route to Cheyenne Mountain to the Doomsday Bunker. There is a government, the Doomsday plane has taken off, was taken off 45 minutes ago. And there is a command and control plane. See it over here? There is a nuclear command and control plane that has been that just taxied and took off 22 minutes ago. So you guys, they're putting the government underground.
Remember when we told y'all that this matrix was falling? That was not an over-exaggeration. This matrix is definitely falling. And I mean that literally. Like, the whole government is basically shut down. We've been seeing on the TV and this fake charade, it's just that. It's just a charade. It's just acting. The government and everything is really closed down. And look, I'm going to show y'all this clip that I had a meeting, with our group and the guys of Goddesses of Planet Cod, that a group we got on Discord. I'm going to show y'all a little clip of our meeting that we had where a goddess that's actually from Washington, D.C. tells about how the White House is closed down and what's really happening in Washington, D.C. right now. I got a question for Non-Ether Goddess. I got a question for Non-Ether Goddess because, I actually made a video, talking about, the fact that, we have no more government, the government was gone, and a lot of people, didn't believe what I was talking about the video, and I was really talking about, like, literally, like, the government is gone and no one is there, but you live there, and for you to say that and, like, for me to hear it from you, it's, like, just solidification that is absolutely right, and that the government is, so you said, like, everything is gone and everything is shut down. Do you mean, like, empty?
When I say everything, I mean everything, court system, everything. Unless you committed a homicide, everything is shut down. People riding around here with no tags, dead tags. This thing. The
Matrix has really failed. The Matrix is over.
Oh,
that's funny, but it just hasn't really hit the peak of where it's gonna get probably. But it's no law down here. It's none whatsoever.
Wow. Yo, you hear everybody? We like, wow.
I beg your pardon? I beg your pardon?
The 3 wildest Simpsons predictions for the end of 2023. Number 1 already happened. Number 3, US and China war. In one episode, the news anchor can be heard saying, "It is with great sadness that I inform you that America and China have declared war. A massive nuclear attack is expected to reach our shores within the hour." Based on what is happening now in the world, there's a high chance for this to happen. Number 2, the 2023 virus. The Simpsons reportedly predicted that there will be another virus outbreak in 2023. The episode showcases how a burger turns into a zombie apocalypse after high-quality cows were made into meat sauce, and then the meat sauce was fed to the cows. Humans made the cows into hamburgers and ate them, and then they became zombies. Before revealing the number 1, remember to subscribe and like the video. Number 1. Global inflation and economic crisis. The Simpsons predicted an economic crisis for 2023 for America. In an episode, a man tells Homer, "Anarchy, the end of civilization coming soon to an America near you," while Homer responds, "America can't collapse. We're as powerful as ancient Rome." Do you think 2023 will be a normal year, or is it the beginning of the end? Let me know in the comments.
Oh yeah. The BRICS has officially been launched, y'all. The BRICS digital dollar has been launched. So now what it does is it increases the value of the currency in other countries that's members of the BRICS. So they excluded the dollar officially. Saudi Arabia has just made their first payment to getting their oil from sending their oil to China in the yuan, the yen, or whatever one they got. See, the BRICS isn't one particular currency. It's every one of our members Your currency is just as good as the other. So it puts everybody on an equal playing field and it kills the dollar. See, it's a unification of the monies. So there is no big I's and little U's. The BRICS, and you can't be sanctioned. The United States can't sanction none of them. It's a way to get around the sanctions that for all of the countries that ever been kicked out of SWIFT, out the United States, this is why they went and joined the BRICS. It's like 60, 70 countries now. And they all join in BRICS. They just joined BRICS because now all of our money is equal. All of them it's been uploaded in their banks, and it is now starting to take, it's going to take about 2 months to take hold, 3-4 months, and then it's over with. It's officially over with for the dollar. The BRICS has officially launched, and they building wealth for all the countries. Do y'all see what I'm saying? Y'all follow me? By having an equal playing field and everybody can trade with each other without sanctions, everybody becomes rich.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? In a couple days, they're about to drop a new Call of Duty game, and they saying this the most realistic Call of Duty, the most realistic killing you're gonna see in a video game ever.
That's why you see more school shootings. That's why you see more kids dying and using and shooting guns and military-style weapons. That's why you see more kids with a fascination of guns. But that's here nor there.
Let's go.
The reason this historical game is about to be released because we are embarking upon World War IV.
Oh yeah, timing is very interesting.
What?
Timing is very interesting.
You think this is a coincidence?
Come on, man.
You got Russia, Ukraine, America back in Ukraine, China in North Korea, in Iran, back in Russia. Russia is now cool with Africa. Africa, China, Russia, North Korean, all them is coming together to, come on, homie, derail the dollar.
Come on.
Not only that, America is telling Iran, we gonna do something to y'all. As if they can't do nothing back to us, as if they don't have the same nuclear capabilities that we have. As if homie, they ain't no small country. And they still mad about, they got a general, homie, that they killed, America killed about 7 or 8 years ago, homie, with a drone strike, and it was an unfair strike. The whole country came out for this general. It's like Nipsey Hussle time 10. The whole country came out for this general. From the satellites in the sky, homie, you saw so many humans out there.
Hey.
So you think this is a coincidence that
what we're talking about here is two different amplifiers. One, if it's nationwide, then you don't have, Houston able to help out Louisiana as an example. Then we have to count on France. And then also we're talking about something longer than a couple days. If this happens 6 to 9 months, then again, it amplifies it, 1,000 to 1,000,000 fold. And so if we truly have an outage that is nationwide, that lasts 9 months, the EMP Commission, which is a commission that was mandated by U.S. Congress, and it has much more authority and better funding than a congressional committee. They found that as many as 90% of Americans would die.
90% of Americans, what's 90% of 360 million people?
So it's like 300 million. So
300 million people wiped off the map just like that. And how long did you say that would take?
9 months.
9 months?
That was the metric that the EMP Commission utilized.
And what does it look like if our power grid goes down?
So it really becomes almost zombie apocalypse. And it's horrific because we think about losing the rule of law. And so we have George Carlin, a clip from, one of his comedy tours in a movie. And he says, you can't count on the police or the National Guard. They'll be at home protecting their own family. And that's exactly true.
I don't think people realize how much chaos and how miserable it will become when the power grid goes down. And just, I've known this is coming for a long time. And when I first started looking into, me and my wife lived in Florida. We went through a hurricane, and anybody who lives in Florida, the population just continues to increase and increase. And now after 2020 and COVID, with all the mandates, all these people that want freedom are just pouring in there like it's nobody's business. And well, we moved up here about 5 years ago to Tennessee, and we went through a hurricane. Here's what happens in a hurricane. If anybody's been through one, they obviously know, but grocery stores are completely wiped out within about 48 hours of a hurricane coming. Just the news alone, people go into panic mode, and there goes all the water, there goes all the bread, there goes all the meat, all the frozen food, all the vegetables, anything you can think of, it's gone. Gasoline, gone. The lines go around, the lines can be over a mile long sometimes. Plywood, gone. Why do you need plywood? To keep looters out, and to keep debris that the hurricane's going to throw at your house from breaking windows. All the plywood's gone. All the generators are gone because everybody knows the power's going to go out. Everything that you can think, you can't even escape it, because I believe it was Matthew, there was a stop and go traffic jam on Highway 95, and that went all the way from Miami to Atlanta, Georgia. Stop and go traffic. There is no escape. And so when we went through that, which
Gotta catch this straight. That's tough. She should have wore a vest. I gotta leave her on 1 HP.
They finna fuck us. Understand they already have concentration camps in the United States of motherfucking America that they've been building for 4 years now. And the question is, who in the fuck is you finna put in there?
I'm done with this world, guys. I'm done with this simulation. Take me home. I'm over it. I'm sick and tired of the predictive programming and the insane reality that we live in. I'm so done. I'm done. I'm over it. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this trailer for the new Netflix movie, Leave the World Behind. Another great predictive programming piece of filth from Hollywood. Part of their magic. Unbelievable. I'm not sure if you have seen it. If you haven't, go ahead and watch the trailer. I'm sure it's on TikTok somewhere. It's about a cyber attack and a blackout that happens. And in the trailer, the predictive programming and the verbiage and the words used, they use the sentence, normal's not coming back, right? Okay, well, we've been hearing that forever, and we understand normal is not coming back. But now I want to dive in a little bit more into this movie. I'm going to show you an article and go through it with you, read about it, to see who's behind this movie, and it may make you wonder what's going on. Barack Obama gave script notes on Netflix's Leave the World Behind. What? Director Sam Esmail, kind of sounds like Ishmael, revealed that former President Barack Obama gave him notes on the script for Netflix's adaptation of author Ruman Alam's Leave the World Behind. In a recent interview with Vanity Fair, published online Wednesday, the Mr. Robot creator, that's another show with crazy predictive programming, he said that he actually turned to Obama when he was penning the original drafts because he would help ground me a little bit on how things might unfold in reality. Interesting. Maybe it's because Obama knows what's coming and he knows the script to reality and what they are planning in real life. Now let's continue. I'm writing what I think is fiction. For the most part, I'm trying to keep it as true to life as possible, but I'm exaggerating and dramatizing, Ismail explained. And to hear an ex-president say you're off by a few details because he knows what's coming, I thought I was off by a lot. The fact that he said that scared the F out of me. Last year, Higher Ground, the production company founded by the former president and Michelle Obama, signed on to the film, which stars Julia Roberts, whatever. Alan's novel follows a couple who heads out on vacation in a remote area of Long Island with their 2 teen children. But when the owners of their rental return in a panic, saying a sudden blackout has swept through the city, causing chaos, the 2 families are forced into a tense living situation. So we need to ask the question, why is an ex-president funding and producing movies, let alone apocalyptic movies, and helping with the script because he knows reality so well? Like really? If you cannot see the writing on the wall by now, then I'm not sure you ever will until it slaps you in the face. Something is coming. Now, this video is not to pump fear. We have the living God inside of us who will guide us no matter what. Whether the rapture comes or we go through great trials down here before Jacob's trouble, he will guide you. We can never die. Our physical bodies can die, but we are one with Christ. His Holy Spirit lives inside of us. We are renewed. We are born again. We can never die. The inner being that you are, child of God who has believed and trusted in Jesus for eternal life. So there is no fear, but there's wisdom. God gives revelation and wisdom to his friends. We go to Genesis. We look at how Abraham is known as a friend of God, right? James talks about a friend of God. Abraham was a friend of God. And what did God do with Abraham before he destroyed Sodom? He told Abraham, hey, I'm doing this because he gives revelation to his friends. Likewise, we as children of God now, we have the opportunity to be a friend of God by following him, by seeking him, by loving him, by abiding in him. And when you do this, he gives you wisdom, understanding, and revelation.
It's a machine to serve him butter. When the machine became sentient and realized that its entire sole purpose was to serve butter, it went into a depressive state. This is a good way to understand that Gnostic cruelty of physical existence. Rick's battery on his car, or fucking something like that. I'm gonna get the details of this episode wrong, but it's the gist. The battery on his car quit working, so he had to shrink himself down into a macrocosmic level to go into the battery. There was an entire civilization of living physical entities whose efforts and energy is actually what powered Rick's car. Rick pleaded with Morty and said, do not tell these people that their sole purpose is to power my car. It would create chaos. The living entities, the conscious beings within this reality wouldn't be able to handle the brutal reality of their existence being for the sole purpose to power some dirtbag's fucking car. It would cause mass suicide. When Rick goes down there as an avatar, he's considered a god. This is obviously funny and humorous to watch for us because we know that that's a TV show and we don't have to worry about that. We live in objective reality. We are a power source for an evil entity. It can't be. That certainty that we are not a food source for a higher creature that could be, in a way, malicious is hubris. It's ego. We think we're the top of the food chain, and when we find out that we're not, we freak the fuck out. What would happen if our species was to realize that we were a sort of a farm? A sort of an experiment, maybe even bacteria in a petri dish, or powering somebody else's world of a magnitude that we can't even imagine. If that's the case, how could we be controlled? Let us consider for a moment how high fleas can jump. Compared to their body size, it's like one of us jumping over a building in downtown New York. However, if you put a group of fleas into a jar for 3 days, the lid therefore limiting their incredible ability to jump, something very unexpected happens. These fleas, despite being fully capable of jumping great distances out of the jar, simply do not anymore after 3 days. They will faithfully stay inside the jar with the lid removed. And then something far more strange happens. This shit is where it gets scary. When the fleas reproduce, the offspring of those particular fleas also ignore or are ignorant to the ability to jump any higher than the lid of that jar was set for its parents. This is startling as all fuck. Fleas, just like us, are made out of carbon. We just learned that carbon is, in its raw form, the 666. We are fleas. We're living, we're breathing, sentient to a particular degree, and we can be controlled. We can be brainwashed, and we can be tricked. What if one of those fleas in the jar was to wake up and say, guys, we can jump fucking way higher than this. We can jump out of the jar. We can be free. Would the fleas consider him to be a heretic, a crazy person, a genius maybe? If he was to jump out of the jar, would they consider that a miracle? Can we handle the fact that we are the fleas and Christ realized that we are being limited to these five senses and wanted to liberate us from our programming? The carbon atom, the black cube, Saturn, 666. Our non-Christian viewers might say, what about Krishna? What about the Buddha, Quetzalcoatl? These teachers of mankind, Lao Tzu, for example, who have woken up and they've expressed themselves to other human beings. Us, as those fleas who can't jump out of the jar, oftentimes assassinate those who show us how powerful we are. Because to be that powerful, we have to use love and understanding in the same way that the bacteria in our gut has to break down proteins, get along with the amino acids in order to create DNA. All of the portions of our body, which is essentially a place, all of these atoms, molecules, DNA, organs, etc., have to get along and live in harmony for us to thrive. If they don't live in harmony, it becomes cancer. That's science. That's not theology. That's in our body right now. Imagine, like the Kabbalah says, we are meant to create one uniform creature and have it realize bliss. To serve man is to serve God, just as the bacteria in our guts to serve the amino acids that create DNA, that camaraderie, that love, that attention to detail is what makes the human body thrive. If we are living in a God as part of it, then indeed to serve man is to serve God. To serve each other is to serve God. The only thing holding us back is the frequency that has been endowed upon us by, but why would something oppose our growth spiritually? It is said that there are these beings called archons that were created out of the syntax error. They feast and use as sustenance our energy, like Rick's battery. The more pain that we go through and the more hatred that we expel towards our fellow man, the more that cancer can grow. Cancer within us depends on the discamaraderie of our physical nature to thrive, thus killing us. If we don't get along, we become cancer to the earth. The earth becomes cancer.
Oh, man. Damn.
Also, the reptilian conspiracy. Most famously brought to the public attention by the British conspiracy theorist David Icke, it's become one of the most infamous and popular conspiracy theories ever, sparking numerous parodies and commentaries in the media and TV shows. To put it simply, Icke believes that an interdimensional race of reptilian entities known as archons have hijacked the Earth and are stopping humanity from realizing our true potential. He has argued that these archons are the same beings mentioned in many Gnostic texts that have identified themselves as demons and rulers of the 7 planets in various traditions, mostly having the ultimate goal of preventing souls from leaving the material realm. He claims that because of this, they have gone by many names throughout history, including the Anunnaki from Sumerian myth and the Watchers and Nephilim from the Book of Enoch. He argues that human sacrifice to the gods in the ancient world was
these wartime boats, 1893. That is a very impressive boat. Almost looks like a submarine. 1893. Interesting. And then you have this one, which has more what look like beautiful birds, and it looks like a Christmas tree up on top. But look at that's a castle. I mean, if anybody saw that, and anybody was around at that time, I mean, you would think this is a castle. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I used to play with Legos as a kid. These are castles. This is what you were building when you played with Legos. You were building castles. And then, to take it a step further, they had a steamship. Remember steam? The Titanic was based on steam. So many different ships that were running on steam. They had to get rid of steam because they had to come with the oil companies. They had to get rid of steam and electric. 1893, you had steam and electric cars, and you had all the steam and electric revolution, but that had to be phased out so that the oil companies could come in and take their place and then sell back steam and electric in 2023 and say that it's going to save the planet. So what's interesting is here's the steamship of Michigan, and look at that thing. Look at how massive that thing is. This is 1893, and what's also interesting is here is a pier and movable sidewalk. So you would walk on the pier, and you would take the movable sidewalk, and it would take you down the pier, and you would go back and forth. Now what's interesting is if you go to Navy Pier in Chicago right now, this doesn't exist. This is all gone. And what's interesting is you would think for tourism that you would keep this. And what's interesting too is all the people on Lake Michigan, if you guys can see them, they look very out of place, and they got their umbrellas. Because once again, like I said, I think they've been put into a fearful state to be afraid from the sun. And then they're all just sitting out here on the lake, staring out at the lake. Because they've all been kind of shipped in, at least that's my opinion on this, or brought to this area. And then they're going to start their new lives. And then they're going to start businesses and start maybe renovating these places, cutting holes in these things, and then starting to open up little businesses. And what's interesting is here's another castle, right back here. That's another one. I mean, there's so many.
Now, when these great blackheads were first found in 1862, the Mexican, the European, and the American archaeologists said, well, these were just happened to be slaves who were blown overseas, and they made statues of them. But yet the local people there, the native people, referred to those as black kings, sometimes as African kings. Also, if you have a slave, you're not going to create this huge, magnificent monument to someone that's the lowest part of society. You only create giant monuments to your most important people in society. On top of that, all of these great heads that were found were not just laying out in the open. They had been ritually buried with reverence, which means that they probably were great monuments at one time, and that there was a period of mourning, and then they were ritually buried, sort of you interred the greatness of this person. To give you an idea how magnificent these stone heads are, I should mention one thing before I forget too. The archaeologists say, oh no, they don't represent black Americans, black Africans at all. They represent a kind of Indians, but they resemble, as you'll see in the slides here tonight, nothing resembling Native American Indians. On top of that, they are all crafted out of black basalt. They're not, in other words, the basalt was chosen specifically to represent a black person, someone with black skin. They weigh 40 tons, and they were quarried in a mountain area that was 50 miles away, quarried there and sculpted there, beautifully sculpted, and then transported more than 50 miles to the capital of the Olmec civilization. Well, that's why he can sit there, that's all right. That'd be the same thing today as if you went, say, out to Gainesville, Georgia, found a boulder, crafted it perfectly, and by hand were able to transport it, this 90-ton work, all the way to the downtown Atlanta area. So whoever did this, they were obviously a great people with social organization on the same par of their artistic achievement. This is by no means the end for evidence of blacks in the Americas. A mound, a ceremonial mound, was opened in the year 1901 in northern Wisconsin, outside of the Apostle Islands. Now that's extreme north part of Wisconsin, right on the upper Great Lakes. When this mound was opened in 1901, the bones did not look Native American, and the skulls especially did not look Native Americans.
We know the truth now.
What do you mean by that?
Sitting underneath the pyramid right now, it is pretty nice looking. It does look like there's a bunch of gravel around it that, they blast around the side of it, but it's not, because it's perfectly cut, it's perfectly designed on the angles and steps and everything, and the rest of it looks like it was just buried. It literally looks like it was buried, and now it's been opened up to be viewed, but nobody knows it's even here because nobody talks about it. All right, you can see right there, zooming in, you can see pretty clearly. and it's pretty nice. And if you zoom out, for those of you who think it's not very big, I'm standing almost about a mile away from it, almost about. And that's pretty far, you know, going down from there to here to the ground. And I'm not even on the ground. See, look, I'm in the brush, and there's quite a big ditch down there. So you can see it's pretty big.
This is a diagram of underwater pyramids hidden in Oregon. Oregon is said to have pyramids everywhere found around the state. We know the truth now.
Get your ass in here and sit down. Now I know some of y'all gonna say the clouds are moving. The damn clouds is not moving. The moon is running. Roll the footage.
Alright, the moon is moving in the sky. It's running away from this craft. I don't even know what that is. Look at that. I'm standing still. I'm leaving my camera still. That's the moon moving away. And that thing's chasing it. If I sit still, look at the moon runs away from my camera. I'll put it all the way over here and watch.
The clouds are not
It's running
moving.
away. It's the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's running away from this craft. It almost seems like it's changing directions, like it's not going straight. Somebody tell me what's going on here. I've never seen this before. The moon is literally running away from that thing. Holy freaking cow.
Those clouds are not moving. The moon, however, is hauling ass. It's moving like it's being chased by the police. I've been said the moon was some kind of surveillance station. Looks to me like their ass been found out and they trying to get up out of the vicinity. Don't be surprised that it disappeared and we don't see it no more. Now get y'all ass up out of here.
Hey guys, alright, so you know those little black UFOs that everybody's been recording flying around the sun really, really fast? Alright, well, I've been keeping an eye on them too. And they're so fast, it's really hard to catch decent footage of them. But I finally was able to record one of these things fly by the sun, and I was able to keep pausing the video, slowing it down, and you know, I took some screenshots, and you're not gonna believe what this thing actually is. It's not what you think. This is a shape-shifting dark angel, and they are extremely fast. And the Bible says that Satan is the prince of the power of the air. So what that's saying is he flies around, you know, in the air doing what I do not know. There's another verse that says he sets his nest among the stars. And look at this white, whatever that glowing area is on the back. It seems to have some type of power. But let me show you some more photos of it, because these next ones are gonna blow your mind. Yeah, that's not a bird. First of all, you can see knees right here. You can see feet, knees, and then this thing hanging down appears to be a sword. And again, this white glowing stuff off the back, some type of power. But just look at that, guys. Look at it. This is what we're up against, and I believe this is another reason they've been spraying the skies so heavily, especially around the sun and the moon. These things, for some reason, they seem to stick very, very close to the sun and the moon. And I do not know why. Only God knows, and only they know why. I do not know. Here's another photo. And like I said, this thing was moving so fast, if you blinked, you would miss it. You can tell this thing has a body that's similar to a man's. But again, it can shapeshift and change form. Look at it again here in this next photo. Here it is again. shape-shifting into a triangle shape or a pyramid shape. And then it did whatever this is. I have no clue what you would call that. And then here it is again. Of course, this one I zoomed in and screenshotted. But just look at that. It seems to be some sort of design on its chest. And you can see this sword-looking thing hanging down in this one as well. This is not a bird, and I know someone is dumb enough to go in the comments and try to say that this is a bird. This is not a bird. Birds cannot fly faster than the speed of sound. And they can't shapeshift, and I'm pretty sure they don't glow on their backs.
Stop.